If you've ever woken up in the middle of the night thinking about business ideas or caught yourself calculating how much you need to save to achieve your dreams, stop everything you're doing because this video could completely change your financial life. What I'm going to show you now are 9 signs that you're close to making a lot of money, and if you recognize at least 4 of them, you need to take action today. Have you ever had that feeling that your life is about to change completely? You know, when you look around and realize that certain things have started to align in a different way. Well, that's no coincidence. There are very clear signs that show when someone is on the right path to financial prosperity, and most people completely ignore these signs. I'm going to tell you something you might not know. Before anyone truly gets rich, they always go through some specific moments, some situations that are like warnings from the universe saying, "Get ready, your financial life is about to take off." And today, you're going to find out exactly what those signs are. First sign, you started to see opportunities where others see problems. You know that feeling you've had when everyone is complaining about a difficult situation, but you can see a solution or a way to make money from it? Well, that's not normal, and I'll explain why. Most people have brains programmed to see problems as insurmountable obstacles. They look at an economic crisis and see only difficulty. They look at a change in the market and see only a threat. But you started doing things differently. When everyone was complaining about the pandemic, you thought about delivery services. When everyone complains about traffic, you think about remote work. When everyone complains about high prices, you think about how to offer something cheaper. This happens because your brain is being reprogrammed for an abundance mindset. You stopped having an employee mentality and started having a business owner mentality. And this is one of the strongest signs that money is coming into your life. If you've ever caught yourself looking at a problem and thinking, "Wow, if I solve this, I could make some cash," leave a comment below telling us what opportunity you saw. This will help other people open their eyes too. Second sign, people started coming to you for advice. Have you noticed that lately people have been coming to you more often to ask your opinion about money, work, or business? If you're one of those people who gets messages like, "What do you think of this idea?" or "Could you give me a tip?" pay attention, because this is a very strong sign. This happens because you've developed a different energy. People can sense when someone is evolving, when someone is on the right path. You might not realize it, but your way of talking about money has changed. Your comments about work have gotten smarter. Your ideas have gained more substance. When people start to see you as a reference, it's because you have truly become a reference. And people who are references always end up making money from it, whether through consulting, products, or opportunities that arise. Why does this happen? Because you stopped being just another face in the crowd and started to stand out. You developed knowledge, experience, or a different perspective that has value for other people. And when you have something of value to offer, money is a natural consequence. Does this sound familiar? If you've started receiving more requests for advice, it's because people recognize that you have something valuable. And when you have something valuable, you can monetize it in various ways. Third sign, you stopped complaining and started taking action. You know that time you were complaining about something related to your job or your financial situation, but suddenly you realized you were wasting time complaining instead of looking for solutions. What I'm about to say will remind you exactly of the moment that happened. The difference between people who stay poor and people who get rich isn't luck, it isn't a rich family, it's none of that. The main difference is this: poor people complain, rich people act. And if you've noticed that you've drastically reduced your complaints and increased your practical actions, you are on the right path. Before you would say, "My boss doesn't appreciate me." Now you think, "How can I qualify myself for a better position or start my own business?" Before you would say, "Everything is so expensive." Now you think, "How can I increase my income to have more purchasing power?" This mental shift is fundamental, because complaining doesn't generate any results. Action generates results. And when you become a person of action, opportunities start to appear naturally. People who act get noticed, create value, solve problems, and consequently attract money. The universe conspires in favor of those who move. If you've stopped just talking and started doing, money will start to appear in your life. Fourth sign, you started investing in yourself. Have you ever heard him say this phrase, "I don't have money for that"? Be careful, that's already a strong sign of a scarcity mindset. But if you started saying, "How can I get money to invest in this?" you are changing your mental programming. People who are about to get rich always go through a phase where they start investing heavily in knowledge, in courses, in books, in mentorships, in tools that will improve their skills. They understand that the best investment there is the investment in yourself. You stopped spending money only on things that give you momentary pleasure and started spending on things that will generate a return in the future. Instead of buying clothes, you buy courses. Instead of going out for drinks, you invest in networking. Instead of changing your phone, you invest in equipment to work better. This change in mindset is a clear sign that you've understood the game. You understood that to earn more, you need to be worth more. And to be worth more, you need to know more, have more skills, be more competent. When you invest in yourself, you are making an investment that no one can take away from you. They can take your job, they can take your money, but they cannot take your knowledge and your skills. And knowledge and skills always find a way to generate money. If you have been investing in courses, books, or any kind of knowledge lately, leave in the comments what the last investment you made in yourself was. Fifth sign, you started thinking about passive income. Have you ever caught yourself thinking about how good it would be to have money coming into your account without having to work actively for it? If you started researching investments, how to create digital products, how to set up a business that runs automatically, this is a very strong sign. The difference between those who work their whole lives and still struggle financially and those who manage to create real wealth lies exactly in this point. Rich people create systems that work for them. Poor people work for other people forever. When you started thinking about passive income, your brain made a fundamental shift. You stopped trading time for money and started thinking about how to create value that can be sold an infinite number of times. You stopped thinking like an employee and started thinking like an investor. Maybe you started studying stocks, real estate funds, cryptocurrencies. You may have thought about creating an online course, an ebook, a YouTube channel. You may have thought about building a business that other people can run for you. Any of these ideas shows that you are developing financial intelligence. Why is this important? Because passive income is what separates the middle class from the upper class. The middle class depends on a salary. The upper class lives off earnings. And if you've started thinking this way, it means you are preparing to make the next financial leap. What I'm about to say might sound strange, but pay attention. Being rich isn't about earning a lot of money from working. Being rich is about earning money without working. And if you're thinking about that, you're on the right track. Sixth sign, your conversations have completely changed. I bet you've already experienced this. You're in a group of friends, and you realize you can no longer participate in those conversations about gossip, complaints, or unimportant things. You prefer to talk about projects, opportunities, and business ideas. Do you know why this happens? Because your level of awareness has changed. You have evolved. And when you evolve, certain conversations become too small for you. You can no longer waste time talking about other people's lives when you could be building your own. Your conversations now revolve around personal growth, financial education, investment opportunities, business ideas, marketing strategies. You'd rather watch videos about entrepreneurship than soap operas. You'd rather read books about finance than magazine gossip. This change is fundamental because you become what you feed your mind. If you feed your mind with conversations about growth and prosperity, you will naturally attract growth and prosperity into your life. Furthermore, when your conversations change, the people you attract also change. You stop attracting people who only complain and start attracting people who make things happen. And these people can be business partners, mentors, contacts, who will open doors for you. If you've noticed this change in your conversations, leave a comment telling us what you most enjoy talking about now. Seventh sign, you stopped seeking stability and started seeking growth. Everyone pretends not to notice, but there is a huge difference between a stability mindset and a growth mindset. And if you've made this transition, you are very close to making real money. Before you thought, I just want a stable job that gives me security. Now you think, I want opportunities that allow me to grow exponentially, even if that involves more risks. This mental shift is revolutionary. People with a stability mindset are content with little. They prefer to earn $3,000 a month forever, rather than risk earning $1,000 one month and $10,000 the next. They are afraid of losing the security they have, even if that security is a gilded cage. But you've started to understand that stability is an illusion. No one is truly stable in a job. You can be fired at any time. The company can go bankrupt. The market can change. The only true stability is what you build through your own skills and your own business. When you stop seeking stability and start seeking growth, you allow yourself to dream bigger. You allow yourself to accept opportunities you would have refused out of fear before. You allow yourself to invest in projects that could work out very well, even knowing they could also fail. And this is fundamental for anyone who wants to get rich, because wealth always comes from growth, never from stability. Stable people always earn the same amount. People focused on growth can multiply their income many times over. That weird feeling you get when you think about stepping out of your comfort zone, but know you have to, is exactly the sign that you're ready for the next level. 8th sign. You started measuring everything. If you're one of those people who started writing down your expenses, calculating your investments, tracking your business metrics, and setting specific numerical goals, you've developed one of the most important characteristics of those who get rich, the analytical mindset. Poor people live by guesswork. I think I spent a lot this month. I think I'm saving. I think my business is doing well. Rich people live by the numbers. They know exactly how much they spent, how much they saved, how much they earned, and how much they need to earn to reach their goals. You've stopped living in more or less and started living in exactly. You know how much you need to buy that car, how much you need for the down payment on the apartment, how much you need to invest to retire. You've turned your dreams into numbers and your numbers into action plans. This is fundamental because what isn't measured isn't managed. If you don't know exactly where you're spending your money, how can you save? If you don't know exactly how much your business is earning, how can you improve? If you don't have clear numerical goals, how can you know if you're making progress? When you started measuring everything, you gained control over your financial life, and control is power. People who have control over their finances always find ways to improve their situation. People who don't have control are always at the mercy of circumstances. Why does this work? Because numbers don't lie. They show the naked reality. And when you see reality, you can work to change it. But if you live in an illusion, it's hard to make the right decisions. If you've started controlling your finances more rigorously, tell us in the comments what tool you use to track your numbers. 9th sign. You started thinking about legacy, and now pay attention because this next one can save your financial life. You started thinking beyond your own pocket. Instead of just thinking, how can I make money for myself? You started thinking, how can I create something that will impact more people and last longer? This mental shift is profound. You stopped thinking small and started thinking big. Instead of just wanting to solve your personal financial problems, you want to solve other people's problems too. Instead of just wanting to make money this month, you want to create something that will generate results for years. This can manifest in various ways. Maybe you started thinking about how to create a business that will provide jobs for other people. Maybe you thought about how to develop a product that will improve your customers' lives. Maybe you thought about how to build assets that your children can inherit. The important thing is that you expanded your vision. You stopped being selfish and started being ambitious in a positive way. You understood that to make a lot of money, you need to generate a lot of value. And to generate a lot of value, you need to think big. People who think about legacy always make more money than people who only think about themselves. Why? Because when you want to impact many people, you naturally create better solutions, work with more dedication, and attract more opportunities. Furthermore, thinking about legacy gives you the motivation to continue even when things get tough. When you're working only for yourself, it's easy to give up. But when you're working for something bigger, you find the strength to persist. If you've caught yourself thinking about how to create something that will last beyond you, leave a comment telling us what legacy you want to leave. Now tell me something, how many of these signs have you identified in your life? If you recognized at least 4, I have news for you. You're closer to making money than you think. But if you recognized 6 or more, get ready because your financial life is about to take a massive turn. But hold on, because now comes the most important part. It's no use recognizing the signs if you don't know what to do with them. That's why I'm going to give you the practical actions you need to take to speed up this process and get money into your life faster. Now that you've identified the signs, the question that's begging to be asked is, now what do I do? It's no use knowing you're on the right path if you don't know how to speed up the process, right? That's why I'm going to give you 5 practical actions you can start doing today to ensure these signs turn into real money in your account. Action 1. Document and develop your ideas. What to do. Every time you have a business idea, a solution to a problem, or spot an opportunity, stop everything and write it down in detail. How to do it. Create a document on your phone or computer, and every time you have an idea, write it down with as much detail as possible. It doesn't matter if it seems silly at the moment. Write down the problem it solves, how you would implement it, who the target audience would be, how you could make money from it. Why it works. Most great fortunes started with a simple idea that someone wrote down and developed. The problem is that our minds generate several ideas a day, but we forget 90% of them. When you document, you create a bank of opportunities that you can review later more calmly. Many people have brilliant ideas in the shower, in traffic, before bed, but never do anything with them because they didn't write them down. After a few weeks, they don't even remember them anymore. Don't be one of those people. Your ideas are precious and can be worth millions if developed the right way. Action 2. Build your online authority. What to do? Start sharing knowledge about the subject you master on social media, creating valuable and consistent content. How to do it? Choose an area where you have knowledge or experience. It could be your current job, a hobby, something you studied. Create a professional profile on Instagram, LinkedIn, or TikTok, and start posting tips, insights, and experiences related to that topic. Do this at least 3 times a week. When to do it? Start today. Don't wait until everything is perfect. Start posting what you already know, even if it's basic. You'll improve over time. Why is this important? Because authority creates opportunities. When people see you as an expert in some subject, they start looking for you to solve related problems. And problem solved, mean money earned. You don't need to be the world's greatest expert. You just need to know more than most people in your field. And when you share that knowledge, you create a reputation that can turn into consulting, products, partnerships, or better jobs. Action 3. Monetize your relationships. What to do? Identify people in your network who could benefit from your services or knowledge and make direct value propositions. How to do it? Make a list of all the people you know, friends, family, current and former co-workers, social media acquaintances. Think about how you could help each of these people with what you know how to do. Then contact them offering help genuinely. For whom? For anyone who has some kind of skill or knowledge. Even if you think you don't know anything special, there's always someone who knows less than you. Expected result. You'll discover that you have more value to offer than you thought. Many people will surprise you by accepting paid help in areas you consider basic. The truth is that everyone has some knowledge that can be monetized. You just need to identify that knowledge and connect it with people who have related problems. Sometimes the solution is closer than you think. Action 4. Create an extra income system. What to do? Develop a parallel source of income based on something you already do well, but in a systematic and scalable way. How to do it? Take a skill you already have. It could be cooking, organizing, teaching, drawing, writing, anything, and turn it into a small business. Define your audience, your prices, your marketing method, and your delivery process. Treat it like a real business, not a hobby. Why it works? Extra income is the first step toward financial independence. When you stop relying 100% on a single source of income, you gain the freedom to make better choices. Plus, small businesses can grow and become big businesses. The secret is to start small, but think big. You don't have to quit your job on day one. Start slowly, test, learn, adjust, and grow gradually. Many millionaires started exactly this way. Action 5. Invest in financial education. What to do? Dedicate at least 30 minutes a day to studying money, whether through books, courses, videos, or podcasts. Expected result: in 6 months, you will have a knowledge of finances that is far superior to the average person's. This will allow you to make better decisions with your money and identify opportunities that others don't see. How to do it? Create a study routine. It could be early in the morning, during lunch, before bed, or during your commute. The important thing is to be consistent. Choose reliable sources of information and study one topic at a time: personal budgeting, investing, entrepreneurship, marketing, sales. Financial education is probably the investment with the highest return that exists. Every dollar you invest in knowledge can return hundreds or thousands of dollars over a lifetime. Financially educated people make better decisions and therefore get better results. Emergency action. If your situation is critical, do this immediately. Identify a skill you have that you can monetize this week. It could be baking cakes, tutoring, organizing documents, cleaning, babysitting, anything. Put a price on it and start offering it to people you know. Don't be ashamed of earning money by solving people's problems. Now you have no more excuses. You know the signs and you know exactly what to do. Starting today, your life can be completely different if you put these actions into practice. I'll tell you a secret that most financial gurus don't tell you. There is no magic formula to get rich overnight. What exists are signs that show when you're on the right track and practical actions that speed up the process. And you've just discovered both the signs and the actions. The difference between you and the person who will continue to struggle financially for the rest of their life is simple: action. They will watch this video, they will agree with everything, they will get emotional, but they won't do anything. You will do things differently. You will take at least one of these actions and start today. Remember one thing: money won't just appear out of nowhere in your life. It comes as a consequence of value created, problems solved, people helped. The more value you create, the more money you will earn. It's a universal law that never fails. And if you've made it this far, it's because there's something different about your mindset. Most people stop watching videos like this halfway through. The fact that you made it to the end shows that you have focus, determination, and a genuine interest in improving your financial situation. These characteristics are essential for anyone who wants to get rich. Another important thing: don't compare your pace to other people's pace. Everyone has their own journey, their own circumstances, their own challenges. What matters is that you are making progress, even if it's slow. Consistent progress always beats inconsistent speed. And please, don't fall into the trap of thinking you need to have all the perfect conditions to start. Oh, when I have more money, I'll invest in a course. When I have more time, I'll start my business. When I know more, I'll start creating content. This mindset will keep you poor forever. Start with what you have, where you are, with what you can do. The perfect conditions will never arrive. But opportunities come to those who are prepared and willing to seize them, even without everything being perfect. One last thing I need to tell you: be careful with people who will try to discourage you. When you start applying these strategies, when you start growing, some people close to you might not like it. They might say you're dreaming too big, that you're wasting your time, that you should be content with what you have. This happens because one person's growth bothers those who are stagnant. They prefer to see you at the same level as them, to feel better about their own situation. But you can't let the mediocrity of others limit your potential. Surround yourself with people who believe in you, who encourage you, who celebrate your achievements. Look for entrepreneur communities, groups of people who are on the same journey as you. The environment you frequent directly influences your results. And if this video gave you the tools you needed, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell, because we have many other valuable tips for you. In the comments, tell me, which of these actions will you start doing first? And if you've already been through a situation similar to the signs I mentioned, share your experience with us. Your story can inspire other people who are watching.